Hello everyone, welcome to Biospeaks, a platform that shares entrepreneurship journey. My name is Adebayo Ademola, and I am bringing you the second episode of Women's Corner 2.0. And today we are sharing the journey of Suliat Alaga, co-founder of Techness Community and a software engineer. Stay tuned and enjoy the lovely interview. Let's start by getting to know you, right? So, who is Suliat Alaga beyond the name?
So beyond the name Suliat, I am just the passionate young woman, right? Who is constantly evolving, constantly growing. My motto is be obsessed with growth, right? So I'm a software engineer, I'm an entrepreneur, I am a co-founder of a tech NGO, and I'm also a community builder. But at my core, if you'd ask, I am someone who loves, solving problems and creating values, and at the same time building communities that thrives. So whether it's through tech or it's through business, because I'm an entrepreneur or a software engineer, I am just somebody who loves creating value a lot. I also value deeply inspiring others. I like to inspire people a lot, especially young people, right? I like to inspire young people to believe that, starting small is also starting, no matter what, like just start. It's still like starting, small steps, baby steps leads to the bigger success. So yeah, that's pretty much everything about Suliat, honestly.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I think you're also you are always an up person too as well. You speak with a lot of joy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's everything from childhood.
All right, awesome. All right, so let's talk about your personal and educational background. So can you walk us through them?
Okay, let's try to make that brief because I don't think it can be brief enough. But yeah,
All right.
I was born and brought up in Ijebu, Ogun State, here in Nigeria. And yeah, I had all my educations back in Ogun State. I relocated to Lagos just in 2022, but prior to that, I've always lived my life in Ogun State. And, growing up, I've always been a curious and creative person. And that led me to actually pursue computer science, where I now graduated with a first class honors. But before that, I attended a secondary school in Ijebu, the Ajela Otola College Private. That's the name, and it was just a normal private school, but a well-grounded one. We had really resourceful teachers that are ready to put in everything into us. That really, really helped us, to grow. And moving forward, I ended up studying computer science because I've always been a curious and creative person. I've always been intrigued by how software applications work. Growing up back then, my father owned a cyber cafe, so I would always visit the cyber cafe during my period, my short periods or my break periods, or during weekends, just to explore on their desktop applications, and that sort of sparked my interest in computer science or in softwares. Okay, how does this work? Play with Corel Draw. I would even take my colleagues, my secondary school mates' pictures, and then I'll print it out for them. And those colors really, really intrigued me, right? And I ended up finding myself in Olabisi Onabanjo University to study. I did my diploma first, which I ended up graduating with a distinction in data processing. Then I proceeded to pursue my bachelor's in computer science program, and I graduated with a first class. But beyond the academics, right, I'm also an entrepreneur. I run a handmade footwear brand, and it's still thriving. So I've always had one leg in tech and another in business. Back in university, I used to run two businesses: a makeup business and also an handmade footwear business. So the makeup business was it was a really, really lovely one. But right now, because of the way tech has been taking my entire time, I had to just pause it for now. Maybe hopefully in the future I'll pick it up. But I've just always loved to put my hands on so many things. I think a part of that would be because my mother used to be somebody that is so agile, versatile. My father too was still the same. They like to just do a lot of things. You call them jack of all trades, master of many. They'll just do so many things. So growing up and watching them do that has also helped me too. So I don't find myself in one space. I don't box myself in one space. I just get anything I have to get done. I get it done. So yeah, I hope that did justice to my personal and educational background.
Awesome. That's awesome. Right, very impressive. Right, so people used to say first class open a lot of doors. So
Yeah.
when you graduated from Olabisi Obanjo
Yeah.
University,
Yeah.
so how many doors, has your key opened?
How many doors? A lot, actually. A lot. I'm not even going to lie about that. You see, graduating is a first class, right? And in computer science, that journey has taught me a lot, right? It taught me discipline. It taught me focus. It taught me perseverance. The tech industry alone is fast moving, and graduating. I mean, having a computer science degree has actually helped me to just mentally have the grit to adapt, to stay consistent, to push through challenges. Now, after my university education, right, I found myself in, okay, I was posted to Lagos to serve, and in Lagos camp, we got the idea of, okay, where do you want to have your PPA? If you have anywhere you want to have your PPA, just let us know. We'll post you there if you have a request letter. So back then, as somebody that is in business and also is smart enough, is scholar, I was so confused on which path to take, to be honest, because I was like, should I pursue my makeup artistry business? Because it was really bringing money for me. I'm not even going to lie. And should I just, people were like, oh yeah, it's scholar, I should have a 9 to 5, should be a corporate girly and all that. Which one should I do now? I don't know. Should I just pursue software engineering? I asked a lot of my mentors, my family members, my other ones, what do I do? And they were just like, at the end of the day, you have to choose for yourself. You have to think about the questions you are going to ask yourself will be, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you, and I asked myself that question, where do I see myself in 5 years? It's not like going into makeup artistry wouldn't have, given me that door and all. But I thought about the tech world and how I've always been so interested in software tools and the likes. So my first class degree, yes, definitely now helped me gain a space, right, or a workspace, a PPA at in a fintech in Victoria Island, Lagos here. So serving at that financial tech was only possible because I graduated with the first class. Because the day I went there, I submitted my what's that letter they give us on camp? The HR wanted to reject me.
Call up later, right? Call up later.
Yeah, call up later. The HR was actually going to reject me, and to our defense, it was because I said I owned businesses in school. So she felt like, oh, you are not ready to come and work. You will now come here and start telling us that you are busy, you are that. And in my mind, I thought that was a strength, like saying that, oh, I graduated with a first class. I also ran 2 businesses in school, which was bringing money. Was something that people say, oh, you can do things, you're hardworking. But to her, she felt like, oh, you will not be available. So one way or the other, the CTO had the conversation. I was like, oh, she graduated with first class. We need her. We need people like this. These are the people we can train. These are the people that we know that, okay, if we put them out there, just train them, give them the resources, they will become better at their work, at their career. So that's one big opportunity that I'm not even going to lie, because serving there has opened so many doors. I don't currently work there, but now I'm working across different parts of tech. But I've worked in fintech, in health tech industries, edu tech industries, agricultural tech industries, and that happened just because. I imagine if I didn't have a first class, right, that door would have just been shut because they would have felt like, maybe you're a business owner, go and do your businesses now. So yeah, that one definitely, that door, I will always talk about it. So yeah.
Right. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about your career journey. I know you've highlighted, a little about your career journey. So can you walk us through how it all, began from your, from your tech and other things you've done? So so can you walk us through?
Okay, great. So I mean, like I said, it started in 2022 when I was confused on which path to take, and I ended up saying, okay, let's go for software engineering. I'm a scholar, I have the knowledge, I have the degree, I can just build myself in tech, right? And then at the same time, I wanted to also understand how technology works. So joining Union Systems Limited, that's the name of the fintech that I started serving. Over time, I built projects. I contributed a lot, and that, I won't even lie, that organization really helped me, like really trained me well, because I had the option to do anything that I wanted. I wasn't just boxed into the software engineering, field. After software development, the first software product that we released, I think that was Sacobia, was called Sacobia. It was a web application for banks, sweet messaging and all. After we built the application, we needed to deploy at one bank, Keystone Bank. And when I got to that bank, I was not supposed to be there as a technical representative, but I ended up presenting the application itself. So that also helped me build myself in communication, in teamwork. So along the way, after I left Union Systems Limited, I currently work for Rigo HQ. It's actually an health tech industry and also in fintech industry. So, and we build multiple applications that way. So I work across both applications. I work on the Rigo MFB application, the microfinance bank. I also work on the Rigo Enterprise, the one that solves solutions for HMOs, hospitals. So my career journey, I'm not even going to lie, has been a beautiful one. Filled with so many growth, challenges, lessons, opportunities. But yeah, I've worked with even contracted companies, right? Interdependent companies, startups like Workbars. I currently work for another one. So my career journey, I'm not even going to lie, since I started, it's been fulfilling. That's the word.
Wow, sounds so interesting, right? So I think you should be on the big world of tech, right? Maybe and, on the road, complaints and all that.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing. So you call yourself an African but a global tech citizen, right?
Yes.
So what do you find so rewarding about tech? What do you find so interesting about tech? Yeah.
So that's the beginning of that question. Already answered it for me, right? I describe myself as an African, right? But a global citizen. Why tech? Tech is so versatile. Tech would not box you in a space, right? Like I mentioned, I've worked across so many industries. Yeah, I've worked in fintech, agritech, health tech, edutech, and that's just because I'm in tech. I'm a software engineer. So that's so fulfilling for me, knowing that I can solve problems across board anywhere in the world. I can just wake up tomorrow and decide, let me research about a country, a small country in Asia, and just look at how I can bring in maybe a software solution that can help them solve something in education, or just help their education system get better. And that's just, being a global citizen. I provide solutions not locally alone, but also globally, that are functional and impactful. I can relocate and say, okay, I'm going to another country. When I get there, because I am in tech, I'm a software engineer in tech, I can build a solution for them in that country. And it's not just going to be because I'm in Africa or I'm an African. It's going to solve, solutions or problems globally. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, it does. It does. So let's talk about community, right?
Yeah.
So you said you're a community builder.
Yeah.
Right. So what part, of being a community, or giving back to the community, do you enjoy, and what led you to giving back to community?
Okay, so I think I should have even mentioned, right, during my career journey, right, at the spark of my career journey, I've always been interested in volunteering and mentoring, right, which has been fulfilling as my paid role. So at the start of my service year, I joined a community development service that helps, just helps us understand. It's just like it's called Digital Onboarders. So it helps us understand how the digital world is. We train people. We also get trained in digital leverages and the like. So because I read books at a early stage, I read this book, Unfair Advantage, and I picked something about it, how you can use your unfair advantage to do so many things. And I also picked earlier, I can't remember what book I picked that from, that the more you teach something, the more you get to know, or the more that thing sticks to you. So even while I was being trained in while I was being trained at Union Systems, right, like where I served, I started training people. I'll get home sometimes and sit in the mirror, and I think it's something that started from university days. After any course, when I get back to my hostel, I will sit in front of my mirror and I will just brainstorm on whatever they taught us, and I'll just read it out or try to teach myself again. So now getting into the career space, career workspace, the tech workspace, I realized, you know what, this is actually a way for me to also give back while I'm learning. I'm also growing. I'm not just giving back alone, right? If I post online, or if I volunteer for communities that are also looking for mentors. Before I even started my own community, right, the Techness Community, where we actually give mentorship programs to any enthusiast or anybody that is looking into joining the tech world, any tech space, right? Because I know the value of that. It's very, very crucial. When you teach people, the more you give back, the more things, it's like a circle. Things will keep coming back to you to one way or the other. So when I teach something that I know, it retains more to me. Like, I get to retain that memory, I get to retain that idea, even though I'm also giving it to somebody else. I'm remembering, I don't need to go back and think about it again. It's something that will stick with me for life. So there's also this quote that I read somewhere recently that said, the fastest growing person in a room is the teacher. Yeah, in a school, in a classroom, the teacher is the only one growing very fast, because the teacher keep teaching it over and over and over again, and that way the person is growing over and better. So to be honest, community is very, very important for me. I value volunteering and mentoring a lot. I value it, and that also brought about the idea of starting my own community that is almost 10 months old, Techness Community. And yeah, it's an NGO. I started with a friend, Shade. She's back in Canada, and it's been filled with so many challenges, so many lessons, so many fulfilling time. We're about to start our next Core 2 mentorship program next month, and we're currently in the registration phase. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. Core 1 went so successfully, and now we're starting another one, and we just keep giving impact. And to be honest, we both know that that's the founder and myself, the co-founder. We both know that we're going to be giving value to the entire world. It's going to get bigger and bigger, but very soon. Yeah, definitely, by God's grace. So that's all about community for me.
All right, amazing. You're doing great work out there, and we look forward to more. Yeah, so let's talk about challenges, right? So you mentioned challenges, that you've gone through a lot of challenges when building up your community.
Yeah.
And so what are some challenges you faced, as a startup, when you were starting up your brand? What are the challenges you faced? How did you get over it? Was it prayer, fasting? So how did you get over it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So another thing about community that she mentioned that will now lead to challenge would be how you see this life thing. We can't do this life thing alone. This life is so beautiful and challenging at the same time. We can't do this life thing alone. We need people. We need like-minded people that can do things for us. So one of the big challenges that I know we faced starting Techness Community was getting people to volunteer for us, because we are an NGO. We're not charging anybody for whatever we do. We just realized that when we give back to people, we just saw the problem, right? When I started in tech and I started posting about being in tech, a lot of people would reach out to me in my DMs like, oh, how did you do this? How did I do that? How can I do? What can I do? What? People were so confused. And because we have the knowledge, the same thing for Shade, we both had that knowledge, like, okay, you know what, we just thought about it. At first, it started from the idea of even creating content on our page and collaborating. We thought, okay, let's just make videos, short videos, and start posting, so people will watch and watch over again, and that way they can always find their route, because a lot of people will just be clueless. And then from there we realize, you know what, let's just start a community, let's start small, let's just do this, let's do that. And we are both go-getters. Anything we set our mind to do, we must get it done. So from there we started doing things. So our challenge was getting people to actually volunteer for us, to have that same interest that, okay, I want to do this, right? The first set of volunteers we had people that really sacrifice, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people have a lot of interest in life, a lot of heart, a lot of, I remember me personally going to people's DM to beg them, because I saw the value in them, like, oh no, join us, come and do this for us. You won't see it's like a delayed gratification. You won't see the results now, right? Building Techness is not gonna give you anything right now, but with time, over time, when this community becomes global, you get recognitions. And personally, I know for myself that I've been getting recognitions just because, you know, we've been putting in a lot of work. So some people will turn us down, and the people that we even end up joining will just be, they're busy with their life. I can't blame them, right? But it's been a challenge, and we've been able to actually, I think we've gotten to a stage where we've been able to cope that challenge by actually reaching out to other organizations that provide volunteers. So there are organizations that actually provide volunteers that will be interested in your area. So because, you know, there are so many volunteering organizations, so there's now another organization in Canada that can now help us say, okay, you need volunteers. We have volunteers that are also looking for organizations to volunteer in. So let's ask them if they're interested in your own. Then we schedule a meeting, and then we have people on board. Another challenge, yeah, because there's so many challenges, right? It doesn't stop, it doesn't end. That's life. Another challenge would be when we, you know, because we're an NGO, if we put out any program, the first mentorship program, like, oh, come and learn tech for free. A lot of people came on board, like, oh, yeah, it's free, let me join. It came in, we had about more than 100 people register. And guess what? Only 15 people graduated last 2 months. Yes, only 15 people graduated. What happened? A lot of people now realize that it was overwhelming along the way. You know, so many people don't know that in life, success is not short. There's no shortcut to success. Success is, if you want to grow, you have to do the hard things. Tech is not even one of the things that you can just say, let me just try it now. Let me just go into. You have to have the mindset. You have to have the mind. Me, for one, now, having a first class or going to university has helped me instill a lot of grit, resilience in me, that I know that, okay, last class I will cry my tears, because even back at work, if I have any challenge, I will cry. Once I'm done crying, I will pick myself back up again, you know. So a lot of people would register, and only few people would, you know, the turnout was just a little bit low. Like, okay, only people will now get to the finishing line, which is actually normal in all cases, right? If you look at the system, even education system, when we get enrolled into universities, it's not all of us that will graduate, right? So for us, for the next cohort, we are going to bridge that gap. That, okay, the first thing we are doing is, because reach out to people that are interested in also mentoring, to come and mentor them in data science, software engineering, data analysis, product management, product design. So our aim now is, we partnered with another organization called Erilearn. They have an e-learning platform just like Coursera and the likes, where you can actually come on board, log in, and then you have access to all your resources. So for us now, we partner with them, because that way we have like a structure where, okay, we have kept the resources for them. They should come. Now, it's not free with Erilearn, even though we got some percentage off because of their scholarship. We still had to pay. Shadi and I had to pay from our pocket, which is part of what we love doing. So, I mean, we can't complain. But because of that too, because we're paying for something, we cannot just allow any other people to just come and waste our time, right? We are putting in, we need to get the impact. So the next quarter, I mentioned that this month we are doing the registration. This month we are making sure we are conducting interviews. We are just checking background, doing background checks, and doing everything before we can just bring anything on board. It is free, but at the same time, we just need people that can commit. Commitment is very important for us. You have to come on board, and you have to, like, you know, and I know personally that, you know, moving forward, we're still going to face so many other challenges, to be honest, communication gaps, this and that, because I'm back in Nigeria. The founder is there in Canada. So we are looking for a way to just, you know, bring that. But everything at the end of the day will amount to what? The lessons, the community thriving at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's that.
All right, so you give freely, right? So what do you get in return? You know, the fundings, you know, what you get in return. Like, so what do you get in return after,
After
really,
seeing all the impact, right, in the community.
is it the gratitude, is it the recognition that you're doing something and, you're achieving it?
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So what's the return for you?
yeah, the return. So for me, I mentioned that I love inspiring others, that starting anyways is still starting. Starting small is still starting regardless. So there's this fulfillment that I always get. I'm not even going to lie, when, I'm able to impact somebody's life. I volunteer for another community, DJI Network, where sometimes I provide mentorship opportunities for people interested in front-end development, because that's my core. When after class and my students are saying, "Oh, thank you so much," or I even see their post on LinkedIn, putting it out there how they built a website. It might be small. It gives you this fulfillment, right? Just as fulfilling as even paid roles, like maybe paid opportunities. I'm not going to lie. So I've always had that fulfillment. So, and I think the recognition as well, because the recognition ends up bringing more people for me to impact their lives. Because the platforms like BioSpeaks now would be able to put it out there that, okay, this person is doing so thing, and when people come on board, we find more people. Gives us that reach to impact many lives, because so many lives are out there. There's no much. The job market is saturated. There's no more opportunity for people. You just have to find a way to create value. If you are not creating value, you cannot find any tangible role, right? So for me, it's not monetary, right? The what's in for me is not monetary at this point. Hopefully it gets there, right? But right now I'm not looking at that side. I'm looking at the impact, the social impact, the social impact that I can create, then the fulfilling impact for me as well. Like, I can just sleep at night and know that I was able to help somebody today and sleep peacefully.
Amazing. So let's talk about instant gratification. You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Right. So how do you keep your teams stable? How do you follow the passion of what you're doing in them? Because a lot of young youths, a lot of people, want to make money. They don't just want to work. They want something that they can earn from. So how do you build up passion among your team?
Okay, so for that, one way would be to show them results, right? So we host webinars as well in our Techness Community. We host frequent webinars where we host community hangouts and frequent webinars. So for team members and even the students and mentees, we ensure to just show them results based on our own life. Like, okay, so years ago, this was how I started. This was what I had. Now look at it. In this period of that year to this year, I've achieved this, I've achieved that, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. Because for me, I document a lot. I document my growth, my recognitions, everything. I just keep them tab. I keep my tab. So that way, I also keep a gratitude jar, where if any single, no matter how small, exciting thing happens to me, I write it down in a sticky note, I fold it and I keep it in my gratitude jar. So, all these things, I share it with them so that they can also see that, you're starting now, everything might look all blurry and, just work. But very soon you're going to get the result, because a lot of people will not understand this. You just have to show it to them. You just have to show, okay, this is how it is. And make content about it. Okay, this has been my my stage since this. So with time, everything just gets better. And instant gratification works well for everybody. Everybody wants instant gratification, but you need to understand that small steps amount to bigger goal. So at the end of the day, if you amount all your instant gratifications and wait for it to be delayed, the day you will get that delayed gratification, you'll be so excited, like, oh wow, it's going to be like a very, very big, a very big river instead of just a flood. You have a very big river in your front that even you'll be swimming everywhere and you'll be so excited. So it just takes patience and consistency and grit for people to know that, okay, you need to keep going. You cannot just get there in one day. Rome was not built in one day. So we just have to, not just only our experience, not just only my experience. I read books. So at times, I share quotes in books for them to see, or stories of even other bigger people in the industry, right? Like, okay, look at this person, look at this person. These people are actually doing well. But guess what? They didn't just start today. They started from somewhere. They put in the work. So you have to be able to put in the work, and then you get your delayed gratification and you'll be so excited for that. So yeah, hopefully I mean, that has been helping some part of the team members. Some people, when they say that okay, it doesn't work with them, it's not a forceful thing. We don't coerce people into it. So if you want to drop out, say okay, I'm not interested, this is not my thing, no problem. We definitely keep finding people that this world, and we have not even met half of the people that we're supposed to meet in this entire world. So we keep moving, we keep growing, we keep meeting people and making new connections. Yeah.
All right, so making new connections, yeah, it matters a lot, right? So, let's talk about, your team's success story,
Yeah.
right? So, can you share, a personal story where teamwork and communication turned a potential failure into a success?
Let me see. Let me now divert from my community to maybe, yeah, maybe a personal story. Yeah, a personal story. Great. So, okay, for one of the startups that I currently that I've worked for in the past year, the one I worked for previously, um, you know, there was a time where everybody was getting their work done, right? And somehow, I don't even know what happened. There was a communication gap or something, or a breach or something. And for me, I'm somebody that I'm quite somebody that could be. I used to be defensive. Let's use that word, because I grew up with boys. I have brothers. I'm surrounded with guys, and for somebody that actually, is in a software engineering field where it's male dominated, I work with a lot of men, so it's always somehow hard. One big challenge is that sometimes it's hard for me to for my impact to be seen. Yeah, it's hard for my impact to be. Some people can just overlook and say, "Oh, who is this girl? She's just a girl." Or I'm a beautiful young lady. They can just decide and judge me based on my beauty and say, "No, she has nothing to offer." So that sort of just made me a bit defensive sometimes. So in a room, before you come for me, I'm ready to come for you, right? And then we were working on the project, and the boss was trying to point me out at something like, you know what, look at this, look at that. And I was just trying to, no, this is his own way, this is that. I'm trying to force my own system. Now, at that moment, a lot of other startups don't have time. They don't have time on their side. They just want to push out a product there and get it done. Would have just said, let's let her go, let her be going, let her go and face Sapalaba. But instead, they called a meeting, right? The bosses that I worked with called a meeting. They found that I called a meeting, and just because they could point out that from my side, they just called a meeting. I was like, okay, Suliat, this is what we've noticed. This is what we noticed, and it might bring us down in the in the organization. And because we still value you, regardless, because everybody makes mistakes, right? We still value your impact, but we want to make sure that this particular mistake of yours, you are able to highlight it and fix it on time. So that way we're just able to oh, okay, speak about it. And that sort of gave me this reassurance. Some of these people actually care about me. There was teamwork in this. There was just not because it's just a let us go and feel like in by ourselves. There was communication immediately. And I was able to identify this challenge and my problem and say, okay, you know what? I now add to set a daily affirmation on my phone that reads, today I'm going to avoid any means to be defensive or angry in any conversation. Yeah, I release the need to be angry or defensive in any conversation. And I've been reading that since then. And even days where I don't remember to pick up my phone, automatically that mindset, that affirmation comes to me. And there's a way it psychologically helps me. Like, okay, I don't need to be defensive. I need to let my guard down. At the end of the day, not everybody's coming for me. Some people might have had to come for me, but not everybody's coming for me. So I really valued that, to be honest, because like I said, the startup would have just let me go and hire somebody else, but they were able to point me out to the right direction, communication, teamwork, and we're able to immediately put in more effort into the project. That yes, I can actually go through the steps you're trying to talk about. It helps us more, and yeah, it was just a reminder that sometimes success comes down to how well you manage people, not just technology. Right, because they could have just been so focused on their solution, but instead they were able to call me to my attention and say, okay, you know what, do this, do that, and guess what, I have identified that problem and now I solved it. So yeah.
All right, that was an interesting story of that was a motivational story, yeah. Right? And So let's talk about, you spoke about in your emotions. When you are down, you cry, and you get back to your feet.
Yeah.
Now, so what does this bring to you whenever you cry? What motivation, does it bring, right, to you? What strength do you get from crying?
Emotions are a part of us. It's just that we have to also understand how we manage our emotions, right? It's a very key importance to growth, because you just have to know how to manage your emotions. So for me, I cry a lot, and I advise people, if you need to cry, cry. Maybe because I'm also a female, because I know in our society men are not allowed to cry. Men are seen as weaklings when they do that. But for me, honestly, I see myself as a mother. If I have any son in the future, a mother that would advise my son to cry. I'm sorry, yeah, it might be unconventional, but yeah, I'm going to advise, train my son to cry if you need to cry. Of course, you don't need to cry in public. Yes, that's just it. But you will not cry in public, right? But you will cry in your room. You will let go of your emotions in your room. You would feel relieved, right? Because you're only human. We're only human. So for me, I cry a lot. If I have any, back at work, right? Back at USL, when I started my journey, and my code is breaking out because of one silly mistakes, or one forgetful hyphen or comma or semicolon, and at that time I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just finding my leg. I will run to the toilet, and I will just go and weep, and after crying I feel relieved. I'll take a walk. After taking a walk, I might speak some motivations to myself, look into the mirror and tell myself, oh, you've got this. I will go back to my desk, I will restart my code, and then I'll be able to see, the problem. I'll be able to say, oh, okay, so this was the problem initially. And, because sometimes you can get overwhelmed and things can crowd your brain. And at that moment, you're not seeing it. You've been working for longer hours. You've been sitting at your desk for longer hours. You won't even see the problem. But when you step away, when you relieve yourself, you just be crying, let go of your emotions, you'll be calm, right? So I'm not going to lie, crying helps me. Personally, it does help me a lot when I let go of my emotions. When I feel any emotions, I let it go. For anger, I've been able to manage my anger by reading an affirmation every day that, okay, today I release any need to be angry or defensive. I'm not even going to let anything tamper with my space or tamper with my energy. I see a challenge in every I see an opportunity in every challenge. Yeah, I also have that affirmation. Today I'm going to see growth opportunities in any challenge. So any challenge that comes to me, I look at the opportunity in it first. There's always an opportunity. They say this thing, behind every disappointment there is a blessing. So I look for the opportunity first. So, and for joy, of course, I bring out my joy anytime, any moment, because life is too short. Any opportunity that I get to spark my joy, I spark my joy. Yeah, so yeah, that's all about emotions from my hand.
All right, amazing, right? Right, crying. Well, sometimes you need to cry on everything. But I understand it, right? When you cry out, right, it helps a lot. Yeah. So let's talk about, you've highlighted twice when it comes to being a girl and dealing with a bias and all that. So are you on the school of thought of, let's talk about gender equality now. So are you on the school of thought of equity and equality, or equality, right? Like maybe what a man can be better.
I think that's feminism or something.
Into what this person is doing. Yeah, that's for feminism, right? That's for feminism. Yeah.
So you see, a lot of people have the wrong perspective when it comes to the word feminism. When people hear feminism, there is this, oh, what are you telling me? What? Okay, so I'm a Yoruba girl, right, here in Nigeria. And growing up, I've seen the way my father was the head of the family, takes care of everything. I'm from a polygamous family at the same time. My mothers would bow down and take care of us, take care of the children. My father would go out, come back home with resources and the like. Now, it has worked for us, right? But for me, I've seen that, okay, at the same time, that's a beautiful thing. But okay, my mother used to, she's late now, but she used to also have like a whole job, and she'll have a little money to help the family. So I think growing up, because I always say it a lot, the way everybody is brought up is going to shape their own future, or how they want their future. For me, it was a very beautiful setting, right? My father was providing, but at the same time, it was the whole weight was not just on him. So my mother was also able to assist. So when it comes to equality, right, for me, it is like this. When it comes to provision in a family or anywhere, in any settings, if a woman can also do something, let her do it. The world has grown so far that now we don't live in that age where we say, oh, women are just going to be wives and mothers or just be in the house. Of course, they will still be that, right? That's still how God has shaped us. But if they have the right to do something, if you see a woman doing something, appreciate her for it. Don't just say, oh, because she's a woman, you're not going to appreciate. Put that. There are being so many bias. If you're paying a man for the job that you see a woman even doing as well, pay them as equal as they should, because they're also putting in the same work, right? So I don't know, my own definition of feminism is very, very just is I don't know if there's another word to call it, to be honest, because when I think about it, it's if it's a man too that is doing the work, appreciate the person for it, give them the value, give them the accolades. If it's a woman too that is doing that work, give them the value. But let there not be bias. I hate cheating a lot in my life. It shrinks me because I wouldn't do it to anybody, right? So I value when everybody's work is respected for what it is, where you are not just boxing people out and saying, oh, you go. Everybody can bring value, no matter their gender, no matter their age, no matter anything. Anybody can do anything. Yeah, so if you're going to call it equality, I don't know, maybe it's equality. But at the same time, it's not just a feminine side, like just be supporting females alone. Support the male too. Male too are doing things. For me, in my future, when I'm ready to settle down, am I going to respect my partner? Of course, yes, fully 100%. When it's time for me to have my family, because I'm somebody that values family as well, I would sacrifice whatever I need to sacrifice for my family. But right now that I have not decided to settle down and say, okay, I'll have a partner, I want to have a child or anything, let me put in the work and save up as much as I can. Because I'm not a wife, or I'm not going to be a partner that just wants to feed off or just wants to take and take. I also want to give. I also want to be able to contribute. The home that I want to live in with my family, I also want to be able to say, even if it's the couch, oh yes, I bought the couch to the house. So yeah, there's a form of just balance. Let us all have that right to freedom, right to do whatever we want, right to respect, because respect is hand and reciprocal. Yeah. Does that answer that?
Yeah, it does, right? So you're making it seems like there needs to be a rule of law guiding this, right? Having a rule of conduct.
Yeah.
For,
because based on the old generations, it's always been about only fathers are be the ones to go out. Growing up, you see a lot of our grandmothers. They didn't work; they were just home. They were just home, just nurturing the. It works. It will still get to that. But see, we're now in this generation where everybody's eyes are open. Though you see people are doing a lot of things. You go to different fields. Though the gap is still a little bit, because I know it's also in general for one. It's male dominated, like I mentioned. You would hardly see females that are into the system. But the gap is, so many people are bridging the gap. So many organizations are finding a way to bridge the gap, because letting it out there that, okay, you females can do it. It's not something hard. You can also do this thing. You can also contribute. Yeah, and you know how they used to say it, that females have this way of managing. We have this. It's just with us. It's just born in us. That's why we are even made mothers and all. We have that way that we can manage things very well. We can manage home. So if you bring a female to your project, we manage your project for you very well. Of course, a man too, we head it well and do it well. But when we work together, we achieve a lot of things, better than if one person is just doing it alone. They say 2 heads is better than one, right?
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about your leadership style. So what leader are you, and what's your favorite leading role?
There are several leading roles.
Yeah.
Okay. Leadership role. I've been in so many leadership roles, and one current leadership role that I'm currently heading is being a co-founder at Techness Community. So it's an NGO, right? So because of that, I just love it so well, where we give people the opportunity to be themselves. I'm not the kind of leader that will be monitoring you. No, do your thing, because I will do my thing too. I give people the free will to own something. So currently we are recruiting for volunteers, and in the meetings there's something I'm always telling them.
See, if you don't see the founders, you don't see Shade or Titi, do your thing. Hold Techness like it is your own. You are also the leader at that point. Don't see it as oh, some people are no. Do your thing, because at the end of the quarter or the yearly this thing, we'll ask you to bring your goals for the year. What do you aim to achieve, right? When you submit that, we'll automatically use that to measure you. Just since you already have your goals, work towards your goals. You have a path through, then you follow through your goals. So I'm not the kind of leader that will shrink my my, what do I call people under me now, my teammates, because I don't want to say I'm higher than them, right? Knowledge is versatile. Even a newborn child or a 5-year-old can actually teach me something, So everybody, regardless of their age, can help you grow. So it's not like, because you have gotten to that, of course, because you have gotten to that height, you might have experiences and all, but you always still pick lesson from anybody. So that's why my own leadership will allow people to be themselves. Just be yourself. Just do your thing. Even in the future, if I start a startup, not even an NGO, hopefully I look into doing that. If I start a startup, people will be free. Gen Z boss. I mean Gen Z. You'll be free to do anything you want to do. Live yourself, do your thing, be flexible. If you want to dress, you dress decent at the same time, but just wear what you're comfortable in and bring ideas. Open office policy. Come in and give me your ideas. Let's brainstorm on it. It doesn't have to be some specific people that doing the whole thing. We'll brainstorm, all of us, will put our ideas together. At the end of the day, we'll pick the best, right? Because you can't do the life thing alone. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so are there any misconception when it comes to tech, right? And what problems do you hope to solve in the future, or are you currently solving at the moment?
Okay. Misconception when it comes to tech. Yes, I think one misconception when it comes to tech would be that tech is a get-rich-quick scheme. And I remember making a post recently on my page about that, where I was trying to tell people it has to do with something about the delayed gratification and instant gratification, where people just think a lot of people are doing tech, they have money. You have to put in the work when you come into tech, right? It's not a day job. Rome was not built in a day. It's something that you have to learn. You have to pull yourself. You have to push yourself. You have to just be ready to do so many things and just make sure that you provide value. Then with time, you will now be getting the money. Some roles you will get. My first paid role in tech was just 50,000 naira, right? And gradually, to keep increasing. It might not even double. It might triple. It might like that. So that's just how tech is. Tech is not just something that, this person is called tech girl. This person has rich money, has gadgets. That person has put in the work, has worked years to get to that point. Then when it comes to the other question, like, okay, what problems do I want to solve? The problem I'm currently solving would be, the access to information, right? Access. People don't have enough resources. They have enough resources, but they don't know how to use them, because now look at it, artificial intelligence is helping us. AI is there, right? And a lot of people still don't know how to prompt AI, to tell AI, okay, this is. So with Techness Community, that solution to mentorship, how to get into tech, has been solved for us. When you come in, we will help you up until the stage where you actually get your first internship, if you commit fully. Because we will not just mentor you in a tech track like maybe data science or product management or UI UX design or cyber security. We would also help you build your CV. We'll teach you soft skills, because as important as tech skills, soft skills is also important, right? Technical skills will get you in a room, but soft skills will keep you in that room. Soft skills like communication, teamwork, grit, name it. So the solution now, the problem, which is just people not knowing how to get into tech, not even having an idea which tech track to choose, we are bridging that gap with Techness, because at Techness, all we need to do is, help you out. Okay, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Then from there, we can just help you identify. You'll be fit for software engineering, go for that. Or you'll be fit for cyber security, do that. You'll be fit for data science. So people are not just lost in the world, because a lot of people don't even have anybody to look up to. For me, I was lucky enough to serve in a fintech where people were ready to help me. I could reach out to any of my boss. I'm grateful for that. They can just, oh yeah, Suliat, do this. No, Suliat, don't do that. They were able to pull and guide me through. But not everybody have that opportunity. So that's just one problem that we're currently and then I'm currently identifying and ensuring that we're able to solve it as much as we can. And in the future, I have a lot of ideas. I won't even lie, because ideas come and go in my head. But I have a lot of ideas. I think another challenge or another problem that I would look into solving soon might not be in the tech industry, yeah, because that one has always been a childhood thing. But yeah, it might be something around fashion, because I love fashion a lot. I love makeup. I've been a makeup artist before, so I'm looking into just getting back there. Maybe when I now fully get my leg down in tech, I can now go and look for maybe how to actually combine tech and fashion together and just solve a major problem there. Yes, that's just it.
Amazing. All right. So, what do you think about entrepreneurship? Right. Because a lot of people right now, not really, a friend of mine would say, entrepreneurship is a, battle. Right, so you have to face a lot of challenges and you have to come out of it or it puts your shop, right? Now, a lot of people, what do you think about entrepreneurship in the aspect of, being able to do a lot of things and achieving, or, some people just want to be a CEO. It's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm founder of this, right? So for you, what do you think about entrepreneurship and what space, is it trying to, to occupy?
Okay, entrepreneurship comes with a lot of things, right? Entrepreneurship is not just a title that a lot of people, like you said, just want to own. Like, okay, I also want to be a CEO of this. Before you be called a CEO, before you can be called a CEO, you have to have solved the solution. You have to have at least one customer, right? And so many people don't know what comes into it. We don't always, before we get to start something, we have the idea, which is, okay, we don't always know things. But if we've already built our mindset that we're ready to face challenges and we're ready to put in all the work, then it will help us in the sense that when we finally start that thing, we don't give up. Because so many people go into entrepreneurship and just give up. My handmade business is 5 years. Was 5 years this year, and I started when I was in school. While I was struggling to get my first class degree, I also had a business. Right, the business was funding, but I had lots of challenges for that one as well. But I never gave up because I understood that it takes time to build something successful. It's not just going to happen. So I understood every requirement. I've worn so many hats. When it comes to my business, especially, when I started at first, I was the shoemaker doing my handmade slide. I'll be the social media marketer. I'll be the content creator. I'll also be the finance person. I wore so many hats. But it was okay for me to wear it because I knew that I just needed to put in the work. Now I have people that I've assigned to manage, the artistry part, the artisans that work for me. I have people that are batch creating content for me. I have people that financially, I have applications that are managing my finance for me that, okay, this is track, this is how much comes in, this is how much is going out. So, for entrepreneurship, people just need to understand the idea, right? They just need to understand that it is not something that you just go in. You just have to put in, you just have to have that mindset that yes, you can do this. You just have to have the mindset that no matter what comes your way, you will still, get it done. And this thing, I also say it's not just in entrepreneurship, in tech. When you have a purpose, when you have a why, you will go a long way. You will go a long way in life. Because if you just get into something because you just want to make money, you will not achieve so much. Now, I did not start my handmade business. I started my handmade business because in university then, I used to buy a lot of slides, all these ready-made slides and slippers. And I had so many, but they won't last. Before you knew it, just bam, cut. And my school, we trek a lot in Olabisi University. So we trek where sometimes there will be bus scarcity or fuel scarcity, and we have to trek from our school miles away, I'm telling you. And most of the slides I owned back then in school, they were just, before you know it, they were not solid, they were not of great quality. They would just remove and have stuck with either refixing them or even buying a new one. And automatically, I just thought about it, handmade. When you make something with your hand, you are easily able to craft it well and make sure that everything, every single match is done perfectly. So during my internship, I had to go for the training. Then I had to learn it. That okay, let's see how that works and craft it perfectly and craft that. Instead, I made for myself. I didn't even see it as just making. I wanted to solve
problem for myself actually. Just make sure that the slides that I own, they will last me forever. They last me a lifetime, at least while I'm in school. And from there, other colleagues, other friends, other schoolmates will sit on me and be like, "That's Suliat, I like this." Then I started from, okay, I make this, pay so, I'll get it done for you. And it takes time to build it, to craft a very beautiful design. And when you own it, I have slides from 5 years ago. Last, if the leather is peeling, I would renew it because maybe water or heat. I'll renew it and I'm good to go. But it's not the random one that I'll just buy and before you know it, it's gone. So having a purpose, having a why to anything in life is very important. Even tech, I tell people, why do you want to do tech? Are you doing tech because people are doing tech? Or are you doing tech because you have a value, you have something that intrigues you about it? You have to identify it. When you identify it, then if any problem comes, you always remind yourself. Maybe you have a sticky note in your room or your workstation that reminds you that this is why I'm doing this thing. Automatically, when you are looking at that thing now, you know that, okay, if you give up, you still have a long way to go. Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so I have a question to ask you, right? So it just came up and so you said you went to Lavisina Banjo,
Yeah.
right, university, and I know Lavisina Banjo very, very well.
Oh, nice.
Now, so when how did you balance your education with your work? Because you said you were working while in school. I know that Lavisina Banjo from the ALT to LT3, LT1, LT2,
Yeah.
to the motion ground, to the game, stop and start. What did you say?
I said, did you school there?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So, and with the power, and everything.
Oh.
So how did you balance it? Because I know how difficult it is to run to school, to body balls, scarcity and all that. Yeah, like you said, trekking from the gate to school, rushing for text and all that. And all that too as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So how did you balance everything?
Time management. Yeah, I learned time management from childhood. Now, I mentioned that my father does a lot of things. To be honest, they have to know what my father does. I can't even say what he does. I just know that man is into so many things. Oh, he has time management, right? He knows how he manages his stuff. If he needs to go to his different workstations, he will know the best route to pass, so that he will do everything along the way. And before noon, he's done with everything. So time management has helped me in school, right? While I was in school, having the business was, they were online businesses. It was only the makeup businesses that was strictly physical for me. And for the makeup businesses as well, I ensured to let my customers know it's weekend I'm available, because during the week I need to read. During the week I need to go to classes and, have my courses like that. And more so, I really got well into the makeup business after I'd graduated, right? After I'd written my final exam, that was when I now started giving all my time to it. That was when I was waiting for my PPA. I'm sorry, for NYC call-up letter and all that. So I was just busy with the makeup business and other business. So, but in school for my handmade business, when I'm in class and the lecturer is not it's not available, I will use that one to maybe create content for my business, or just edit something, or just brainstorm on ideas to do for my business. And at the same time I was solving something for my business, and at the same time I was killing boredom, because boredom is a serious thing. I was killing boredom, and at the same time I had to make sacrifices. I remember going for midnight study session. Oh my god, when I started at first, I had this group of guys that I used to read with, and we used to rotate houses to read at. Is in the nights we are reading, we used to rotate houses. Tonight there's a way we do our calendar. It might be my night, next day it will be Sunday's house, next day it will be Daniel's house. And they were all guys. To be honest, I was the only girl, because some of them were in mathematics, some of them were in what's that other course, statistics. Then I was in computer science along with, I think, what's the other guy's name, Farouk. And we would read all through the night. The next day like this, you'll be so drowsy, so tired, but we still have to go for our courses, we still have to take our courses, and we make sure to finish our curriculum before exam is approaching, so that when exam comes, we're now the chilling type, we're now the ones teaching as well. It helped me learn about how teaching somebody helps you retain your knowledge, because when we are teaching other colleagues, other classmates of ours, we remember our thing a lot. So when we enter exam, we don't even need to refresh or review because we have taught everybody now. We remember once we enter the exam and the brief. I just mentioned this to person, So I mentioned so many things, right? Time management, making sacrifices, batch doing things. You know that okay, weekends is strictly for makeup. Weekdays you batch. You know that it's strictly for learning, reading, and doing all the things. And just make sure that you make sacrifices. Last, if we read overnight and we used to put days in between though to rest. But if you are so weak and tired, when you enter class, sometimes our lecturers will not come. Just sleep. You sleep. Or sometimes, just you'll find a way to will make you work when you know where you're going, when you know that okay, your journey is long. I'm telling you, the whole stress, it will be worth it. Yeah. Hi, Abraham. Okay.
All right, awesome. Right. So let's talk about some of your recognitions, right? So what are some of your recognitions?
My recognitions, a lot of them that I even lost, I begin to lose count of, but for sure, I've been recognized for academic excellence. Graduating with a distinction first in diploma, then graduating with a first class honors in computer science. Then recently I was recognized by there's this Unilag's MSA Career Expo. I think it's a department. Maybe I think it's a MSA department, and they needed somebody to come and speak on digital leverage and the likes. And that was a really great recognition for me because when they reached out to me, I didn't even think it was a big deal. Yeah, sure, I'll do it, right? They sent their everything requirements and everything I was supposed to show physically at Unilag. And I think few days to the D-Day, they just, because they even postponed it before the initial, they postponed. I was like, okay, no problem, I can still make myself available. Last as I'll talk to my boss just to give me that day off because it was on a Monday. They now sent me the flyers, and I saw really, really like notable, will I say content creators or influencers on Instagram. And I'm like, am I speaking with these people? I see myself as this. I don't see myself as small, but my own field is still just. I know where I'm creating my impact, right? On LinkedIn, you can say I'm popular, but so these are the people that are coming as well, and. I think all of them even graduated from Unilag, but I did not. I graduated from Olabisi Obanjo. So when I got there, on the stage while we were speaking, everybody was introducing themselves. Having to say that I graduated from a different school, but I was still recognized to come and speak in their school was a very great recognition for me because I was like, okay, yeah, you guys see my impact. You guys actually see that. That means I'm doing something there. I need to keep doing it. That means people are watching, right? And so many recognition. One of it is also, being invited by BioSpeaks, right, to come and just share my idea for the Woman Corner 2.0. I'm so excited. I'm like, okay, great. That way, so many people will get to know about me. So many people would also see the work I'm doing. So many lives that need the impact from my value would reach out and, they will get the impact that they need, right? So for being among the next generation of women, starting young and driving positive change. And yeah, like I said, these recognitions just remind me to keep pushing and serving as an example to others, to keep inspiring everybody around me. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, right? And we have a lot of people too as well, aside from Unilag, who are producing a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
And also we also have nothing from Olabisi Obanjo.
Yeah.
Also doing.
Yeah.
People who are doing a lot, right? But they like living privately. They don't like showcasing that.
Yes, you are very correct about that. Yeah.
So we're all doing well, and
yes, you're very right.
Yeah. So let's talk about. So if you could advise yourself, your younger self, what advice would you give her?
Own advice would be don't worry too much. Don't worry about the future. The future would work for itself. Just keep going. The future will be fine. Suliat, you'll be fine. Yeah, and another advice would be start with what you have. Start with where you are. When people say they want to get into tech now, and I start talking about my journey in tech, and sometimes I start saying, I wish I started software development when I was actually in university. Because I know people that started in university and now they have gone far. I'm like, because I've seen the way the whole journey thing works. That you need to actually walk before you now get to somewhere. I mean, grace will speak for you too at the end of the day. But I always wish I started when I was back in best, because I would like In school, there was no practical engagement. It was all theoretical. We will be the ones to make the research. You want to lose of you. So I wish I'd actually just go and, I mean, first class is okay. Reading, bookworm, it makes sense. But life itself is outside your first class. So as much as first class opened the door for me too, I still had to put in the extra work when I started serving in a fintech to make sure that okay, I get the job done, practical experience. But I'll tell myself to start. So I always say, oh, I wish I started there. But at the same time, never say never. You started, so just keep going. I still caution myself, no, no, no. It's not about, it's God's time. God has said you start now. So that's where you started. Keep going like that. So, but my advice to anybody now would be, okay, start with what you have. Just start with what you have. Start with where you have. Content creation as well. Some people want to get into it. They'll say, I don't have the perfect. Me too. I was like that. I don't have it. When I started content creation about last year, it's almost a year ago. I'll just post random things on LinkedIn. I'll just post about how work or something at work happened or something about a book I read or just random thoughts that comes to my head because I'm a yapper, as you must have experienced. So, but now I've realized that anything that I want to put out there, let me just close my eyes and put it out there because you don't even know whose life is going to impact. So don't wait for the perfect time, Suliat, or the perfect resources. Just begin small, stay consistent, keep showing up, be willing to learn and unlearn and relearn. Because in the tech space, and not just the tech space, everywhere it keeps evolving. The world entirely is evolving very quickly. And most importantly, I should not walk this journey alone. Oh, I should not walk this journey alone. I need people in my corner. I need resources. I need information, access to information. You can only get all these things if you have people in your corner. Because you cannot know it all. Somebody in your corner that will let you know that something is going out there. One thing is happening there, and you can easily connect yourself to that. Leverage communities, mentors, peers. Tech is not just about coding. It's actually about connection and impact. So these are the advice that I will tell myself. Honestly, if I can go back, just do yourself. Be you. You don't need to force it. Just be consistent, right? And keep putting it to work. So that's it.
All right. So if you were to give yourself an award, what award will you give yourself?
Jack of all. Will I say Jack of all trades?
Nah, that's personal, not right. So you say Jack of all trades. So.
Will be we be jack of all trade, master of a lot, master of many. Or also being resilient. Yeah, I think a lot of people mention that to me a lot. That you're actually resilient. A lot of things you've been through. If I talk about my journey, about the challenges that I've actually faced personally, so many people will doubt, how can you have gone through this? How can you have gone through that? I'm like, well, that's it. We don't look like the problems we go through. I've gotten out of it. So being resilient, right, is a gift. It's a gift. So, and also having that idea, and always, I don't know how it works, but I feel like it's God. I don't even feel like, I know it's definitely God. Always having that strength, that idea to do something. So I'll give myself so many awards. I'm not even going to lie. I will award myself in so many areas because I treat myself a lot. I celebrate myself a lot. Because it's not easy, and that's the only way you can keep putting in work. When you keep celebrating yourself, putting your small wins, you keep recognizing yourself, even before other people recognize you. Know your worth. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So finally, right. So what legacy, right, do you hope to leave behind?
Is there a particular space the legacy would be, or?
Generally, it should be business, it could be life, anything,
All right. One legacy that I would love to leave behind. You see, all these questions are always making me want to talk, but let's just try and find one most important one. I think one legacy would be when it comes to volunteering, right? Being kind, yeah. Because volunteering is you just being kind, you just wanting to give out regardless of having anything in return. You don't think about what you get in return. So for me,
that legacy, I would want people to remind me for it. It's like, oh, this person is somebody that was just extra kind and giving back.
Yes, so we've come to the end of today's episode of Women's Corner 2.0. We hope you've learned from our shared experience, right? So as you all know, Women's Corner magazine is also out, and you can also get your copy too as well and get motivated, start small and grow big, right? And if you also want to share your story, you can reach out to us via our email. Like, subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and stay safe.